The SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, is the third SpongeBob movie, and it tells the story of SpongeBob's pet snail, Gary. Gary gets snail napped, and that's when SpongeBob and his best friend Patrick have to travel to the lost city of Atlantic City to save Gary. So, I'm sure you guys are probably confused about how I watched Sponge on the Run, since it's technically not available to watch here in the United States yet. It's available to watch on Netflix in the United Kingdom, and over the summer it was released in theaters in Canada. And for me, how I watched it, I found a link online to watch it. Like, nothing really special or anything. So in terms of my history with SpongeBob, I am a humongous fan of SpongeBob. I grew up watching the show. The first 3 seasons of SpongeBob are some of the best seasons for any television show ever. And I've even seen the first 2 movies. The first one is a cinematic masterpiece, and I will fight to anyone to the death if they disagree with me. Now, when I first heard that Paramount and Nickelodeon were developing a third SpongeBob movie, I was a little skeptical because as much as I love SpongeBob, if I'm being honest, Nickelodeon has been dragging it out for kind of a long time, and I heard it was going to be all CGI, like no 2D animation at all, and I was very concerned. However, I saw the trailer and I saw how the animation style would work, and I was like, okay, this could have worked, so I'll give it a chance. Now keep in mind, guys, I watched the movie about a week ago, so the reason why this review is a bit late is because I wanted to collect my true feelings about it, and I even considered not making a review at all, like, for real. Now, like I said earlier about me being a huge SpongeBob fan, you guys are probably expecting me to be super biased about this and just gush all over it just because it's SpongeBob. Well, that's not quite the review you'll be getting. So now that I've finally thought about it for quite some time, here is how I feel about Sponge on the Run. I didn't like it. I didn't really think it was all that great, to be honest. It's one of those movies where the more I think about it, the more it's starting to become underwhelming. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was terrible. It wasn't bad per se. It has things in it that I liked and things in it that I didn't really like all that much. The best thing about Sponge on the Run, for sure, is by far the animation. The animation is absolutely wonderful. They did a really good job taking the SpongeBob characters and translating them into like a 3D animation style, and I thought they did a really great job with it. There are some characters who looked flawlessly animated, like Plankton and Squidward, and there are some scenes where it does look a little cheap because the budget was only $60 million, but for the most part, I thought the animation was marvelous. And the voice cast is excellent too. They do bring back the original voices from the series, and once again, they're perfect as these characters. But the biggest problem with Sponge on the Run is the story. The story just is not that great. The story is basically a rehash of the first movie as well as the episode Have You Seen the Snail? It doesn't offer anything new to the table. Now, say what you want about the second SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. A lot of people were very divided on it. For me, I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't think it was nearly as good as the first SpongeBob movie either. But my point is, at least with that movie, they at least did something new with the story, and it didn't feel like a rehash. This isn't really considered a spoiler since the trailer showed it, but there's a point in the movie where SpongeBob and Patrick go to this Wild West town, and there's a bunch of celebrity cameos like Keanu Reeves and Snoop Dogg and Danny Trejo, and it was so weird. Like, I get with SpongeBob it's meant to be nonsensical and weird, but it felt out of place because it didn't serve a purpose in the story, and it was stupid. And I absolutely hated the villain in this. It's King Poseidon, who is the ruler of the lost city of Atlantic City, and he's also the Walmart version of King Neptune. His character was poorly written, he was boring, and the reason why he wants Gary was so stupid and it doesn't make any sense. And of course, I gotta talk about the one part in the movie that everyone has been complaining about, and that's the Camp Coral scenes. Now, if you guys don't know, Nickelodeon is developing a SpongeBob spin-off series called Camp Coral. It features the SpongeBob characters when they were younger at a summer camp. Now, the movie does feature those flashbacks, and yeah, it did not work. The movie just feels like one big advertisement just to tease a new show. Now, if you've been a longtime fan of SpongeBob, you may remember the episode where he meets Sandy. Oh boy. You guys aren't going to like this, and I did not like this at all. They retconned how he meets Sandy, so the movie basically treats that episode like it never existed to begin with. And it's ironic because the movie ends with a tribute to Steven Hillenburg, who was the creator of SpongeBob. So let me get this straight, Nickelodeon. You paid tribute to Hillenburg, but you also disregarded his work.
Why are you the way that you are?
So, as you guys can see, I was pretty disappointed with Sponge on the Run. The animation was excellent, and the voice cast is once again fantastic, but unfortunately, they weren't enough to save this mess of a movie. I give the SpongeBob movie Sponge on the Run a 6 out of 10. So, if you guys have seen Sponge on the Run, what are your thoughts on it? Or, what is your favorite SpongeBob episode of all time? Mine is Band Geeks. Legendary episode. Whatever it is, just leave it in the comments below. And if you want to see more of my videos, just be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more great content.